Welcome to Switch Comics. My name is Marco, and today's video is going to be a little bit different. I got a new, very indie comic, and I'll explain more what that means here in a bit. So I want to do a special video just on this single comic alone, because it is from a truly independent source, and I'm excited to finally receive it, and I'm excited to have read it and have all 4 covers that they released. Now, before we get too deep into it, let me first quickly tell you about my giveaway. I'm giving away 3 awesome comic bundles at 500 subscribers. That's right, 3 lucky subscribers will each win one of these 3 comic bundles. All you have to do to enter is simply be subscribed and leave a comment on this video. If you would like additional chances to win, you can watch other videos on my channel and leave comments on those as well. Each comment on a new video is another chance to win. Good luck. Alright, so the comic in question today is Godslap. And I guess this is technically number 0. It's kind of a prelude into my understanding. It is entirely going to be reprinted in the actual number 1. So this is just kind of a preview more than anything. And that being said, I'm still very excited. And I guess let me explain a little bit of where this came from. You may or may not know, this is technically from a YouTuber, and it's one that I've watched for many years, that he mainly does like comedy videos and stuff like that. In the past couple of years, he started doing some music, and then now he's releasing a comic. And his he goes by, I guess, many names. You may know him as Critical, or Charlie, or Penguin Zero, or Moist Critical. He's got a lot of names, I guess, and it's kind of complicated, but he's been on the internet forever. And sometimes you pick a name when you're very young and you kind of stick with it, and then you have other names and whatever. I don't know. If you know him, you know him. If not a big deal. Like I said, it was just a content creator that I've watched and enjoyed his videos for I don't even know how long at this point, and I was very excited when he said he was releasing a comic. And this stuff, he had 4 different covers, like I said. So this is the main cover, and for all intents and purposes, we're going to call this cover A. There's no barcodes on this. He's not even really like a comic person, and he fully discloses this. He had an idea and he wanted to make it into a comic. He does work with a team. And that helps him write, and does all the art and everything like that. So he, as far as I know, he came up with the idea, and he also helped with writing. And when you're successful and you got the money and you decide you want to make a comic, cool. I'm all for it. So that being said, this isn't a traditional comic in any sense of the way. Even when you're picking up your Image or Boom Studios or Vault or whatever, they at least have barcodes on them and have the numbering, and you can know what covers are which and all this. This is not that sense of of a comic, and we're gonna call this cover A, and then we're gonna move on to what we're gonna call cover B, which is a very simplistic, but I really like that cover a lot. It's just the logo on this nice kind of red, but it's kind of faded out into the black as well, with the black background. We're going to call this one cover C, and then we'll call this one cover D. Like I said, there's no technical lettering or numbering for any of these, but in the comic world, that is how I describe books and how I'm used to calling books. Keep in mind, I want to explain rather, on the cover A and cover B, these were open order. I think the order was open for about a month, and as long as you placed your order within that time, it got printed. Now, I don't know if he has disclosed the number or ever will disclose the number of copies that were printed on either of these covers. However, fairly accessible. Now, granted, I'm sure, the print numbers are still pretty low as far as as far as comics are concerned. So it would be very interesting if he were to release at any point the print numbers on those. So because clearly he has to have them. And then cover C and D here, or let's see, I guess that way. These were limited to 3,000. a piece. So very limited, and they were hard to get. They sold out very quickly. I was able to grab this. I wasn't able to get the D cover immediately, because first actually they were limited to 1,000 a piece, and they sold out extremely quickly. This one sold out what felt like almost instantaneously. I missed out on this one on the cover D. On the C cover, I wasn't able to grab it, or no, I was able to grab it with the other regular ones. So, and that's important to note as well. These all came together in one package, and the D cover came in a separate package. So after, because this is all very new to him, the entire process of making a comic, shipping a comic, doing all of it, being in the comic world in general is all new to him and his team. So, you know, there's a lot that he doesn't know, and it's part of it, I guess. You know, there's like I said, he had 1,000 each of the C and D covers, and then the next day he made a video saying that he was going to you know, bump it up to 3,000 a piece because he wanted the C and D to be limited covers. However, you know, he felt like it did sell out very quickly. So luckily I was able to grab the D cover, so I have the full set. And another thing I want to mention real quickly while we're talking about it, I'm not a huge fan, actually not a fan at all, of how they were shipped. Again, I fully understand they're not comic people. They don't know. He is a Pokemon card person though, and so he should, and if by any grace or chance he ever watches this video, I'm sure that he would understand collectors wanting their cards to be in very good condition. Comics are the same way. I'm sure, you know, he didn't consider it or consider how the packaging, because the packaging's not, I guess there was some effort in it, and I'm sure if you're not familiar with comics, you'd be like, oh, you know, this will be fine. However, there's a lot that can happen, and well, let me just show you how it was shipped. They were shipped in a you know, hard mailer envelope, just stuck straight in there. No, the bags and boards that are on these I placed on the books. He just stuck the books straight in there, and you know, it's obviously, well, let me show you it that way. Got some room to wiggle around, so as it's in transit, it is definitely moving around, hitting the corners and stuff like that. So these comics didn't come in the condition I was hoping them for. It's not entirely unexpected. When I placed this order, I had a feeling that I was like, these might not come out the way that I want. I do, with that in mind as well, I probably will be sometime in the near future be making a video about how to properly ship comics. I see often, in which I kind of did a video like that before, talking about my mystery bundles and how I was shipping those out, but I want to make one that's more of just a straight informational video that'll be helpful for people that don't know how to ship comics. And so, and I think I have a very good technique, one that's very easily accessible. It does take a little bit more time, and that's another thing, you know, I'm sure his team that worked on this was very small, and I'm not sure if it's something that, you know, would have taken way more time doing I don't know how many orders, and it, you know, to think, I don't know exactly how big his team is, but you know, it might have only been a few people or so that was helping him out, and you know, it's fairly easy to take an envelope and stick a comic in it. However, you know, when you're, you know, putting in bags and boards and then taping it to preferably a Gemini mailer rather than one of these envelopes, it does take considerably more time. That being said, I don't know if he would ever want to, you know, have a premium shipping option or something like that, especially on something, you know, that I do consider a collector's item. Maybe not so much with, which, I mean, I still consider the A and B covers collector's items as well, because again, in the comic world, I'm sure these are very low prints. But, you know, definitely having these 3,000 run comics was something that I was hoping to get in very pristine condition. I will say, so like I said, the D cover came by itself, and I feel like it came pretty well condition-wise. It's not perfect. I do think I may get this one graded, because I think it would just be a very cool thing to have added to my slab collection and put up on the wall. And it also is the comic that came in the best condition. The other three were all together, and I feel like that caused more issues on the comics because there's more rub, and the corners are not quite well. I end up reading the B cover because which, you know, obviously the infamous black cover, the covers are black, or the back covers are black as well. And that being said, it had some major corner rub. It has even a little bit of like where it looks like it got hit on the back. It's not in great condition. Like I said, slightly upset. I do understand. I'm not going to email them and throw them a fit and demand my money back, or, you know, a reissue or anything like that. It's one of those things that, you know, I'm sure all of these that got sent out are not in great condition. So, you know, I don't know if anyone else is going to try to get any of these graded, but with that in mind, people should know that these probably aren't. It's going to be harder to find, you know, super high grades on these. I was a bit disappointed. This one came a little damaged as well. And again, if by any miracle that Charlie is watching this video, when I say damage, you know, it doesn't have to mean that it was bent in half or ripped or anything like that. It's literally just, you know, corner rub, little hits and ticks on it that, you know, it makes a big deal when you're grading things and you want things to be in really good condition. But without, you know, I guess I spent a lot of time here talking about, you know, the shipping and the grades and the covers, which are really cool. And which, by the way, again, this one that I think I'm going to get graded, I am happy that of all of them, this one came in the best condition because it's probably my favorite cover. It's a super, super cool cover. I like that one a lot. My second favorite probably being what I call the B cover, which is probably hard to tell in the video. In real life, though, the red has a bit of a shine to it. I wouldn't quite call it a foil. I think he listed it as holographic. I was kind of hoping for a bit more of a shine, but regardless, still really cool. And especially with the bag on it, it's going to be hard to tell anyway. But that being said, you know, the black is very matte, and then there's a bit of a gloss, I guess, on the red handprint there, which there's certain simplistic things like that I just really, really like, and I think that cover just pops really well. But anyway, I got to read it. First impressions, well, I noticed it was in black and white. And, well, first of all, he had them in, you could get them in, actually, I'm going to keep talking about the quality a bit more, I'm sorry. You could get them in hard, I can't remember exactly how he labeled it. It was like thick cover or thin cover, I think is what he said. And so the limited ones, well, not those, sorry. These automatically came in thick cover, or thick paper. And then I went ahead and just got the thin one on these. I kind of wanted to see the difference, and also it was a bit cheaper. And I was like, it's fine, you know, if they were to get a bit damaged. Moving forward, I might just pick thick from here on out. Just because, you know, I do think it'll hold up a little bit better. Like I said, this one in particular took a bit of a beating. Also, yeah, there was a bit of a bend here, not like a major one or anything, one that could very easily be pressed out, but you know, it's still another $10, $15 I gotta spend to get it pressed, if I even wanted to do that. But anyway, the story, like I said, is black and white. I noticed there's nothing on the inside, like on the back of the cover. As soon as you open it up, it's just blank, which is a little drab. Again, super indie, not a big deal. Minor critiques, something that maybe could be improved upon. Even if you just put, you know, information. It doesn't have to be super crazy or anything. It can just be, you know, who worked on the comic and wrote it and you know, did the art and this and that and whatever. You can put all that information on there, and it's something. The art looks pretty good. I'm not a big fan of black and white. Oh, it does have some red. That's another thing. It's been a popular trend, I feel like, lately. There's been all the Marvel, you know, like Wolverine, what do they call it? Black, White, and Blood, and the Deadpool Black, White, and Blood. There's the There's I think it was Harley Quinn. There was the same thing, just black, white, and with red. I feel like it's been done a lot lately. In particular, I also associate it with the, like I said, the Marvel books. I think it was Venom. No, it was Carnage. So it was Carnage. It was another one. And I read some of the Carnage. I read, I think, a little bit of the Wolverine, and I wasn't a fan of those books. So I also associate it with that, and it might be my own personal preference. I know some people really enjoy the aesthetic of black, white, and only red, you know? And there are parts of it I think really work in this book, but it might just be something that has a bad taste in my mouth, and I'm not a fan of it. That being said, I have a problem of looking at black and white and feeling like, did they just not want to pay for the color, or is this intentionally black and white to serve the art better? Because some art does look better black and white, I'll agree. I'm a big fan of Ryan Stegman's work. I think his work in color looks great, but in black and white is just absolutely stunning. This, I do think the art stands up. I really enjoy the art. I think it looks really good as black and white. And I think there are red accents, and obviously red's used in anytime there's blood, but also they use it in the text sometimes to help kind of make something stand out a bit more. And I felt that was an interesting choice. I quite liked it. As far as the story goes, again, this is supposedly just the first little bit of what's going to be the full issue 1. So it cuts off, slight spoiler, it cuts off right when we're introduced to the main character, which is an interesting point, I guess, to say the least. I would have liked to learn more about the main character. It felt like just a bit of a build-up to him, and kind of cut you off right when you wanted to know, when you're really intrigued, I guess. So, again, I don't feel like it's fair to critique it in that sense, because it's a preview more than anything, you know? So I don't want to critique it as a full issue 1. I am critiquing it as a preview, which it caught my interest, which is the point of a preview. So that being said, I am excited to see what will be happening. And also, keeping in mind, if you all are interested in this, you know, if you missed out on this, what I'll call issue 0, then, you know, just pick up the issue 1 when it comes out, and you should be able to get the full thing. And you won't really be behind at all. It'll have it all in there. And I guess to describe the comic book a little bit, he's a big fan, as am I, of slapping tournaments. If you haven't seen them, they are quite entertaining to watch. And it's literally that. People, you know, take rounds slapping each other, and it's a pretty great sport. I've never really been one to watch any sports. You know, I don't watch boxing or basketball or whatever, but slapping tournaments are pretty legit, and they're pretty entertaining. I guess it's really cool to see, you know, someone get knocked out and just lose their soul. It's really cool to see someone that you know is strong slap the crap out of somebody, and, you know, when they can hold it and they take it, it's, oh my god, what is this beast of a human that is presented before me? But anyway, so he's a big fan. He does a lot of videos, reacting more so to those type of videos, and he took that inspiration and made Godslap, which is, again, there's not a lot because it is just a preview, but it's a bit over the top. It takes the slapping concept. It's not like a tournament or anything like that. It's more so that I guess these people, I don't know if it's a power or, if, you know, this is just in this universe, it might just be how, you know, a martial art of a sort. You know, they're slappers, and they're very intense. Like I said, there's lots of blood in this issue, and it's got a lot of energy. And like I said, I feel a slight disappointment because I'm introduced to the main character, and literally then it ends, and I'm like, oh, I want to see what happens. And I don't know when issue 1 is coming out. Obviously, this isn't like a regular release schedule. He hasn't, as far as I know, said anything about the release of issue 1. So I don't know how long I'm going to have to wait, which is also a bit of a bummer. but you know, it is what it is. If I'm interested in reading it, I'll have to suffer the consequences of picking a super indie book to read. That being said, I'm super excited. I think it's super cool that someone that I've admired and watched for so many years is getting into comics, especially in a point in my life where, well, I mean, obviously at this point I've been into comics for a while, but you know, if he had done this years ago, maybe I wouldn't have cared about it. But he did it at a point where I'm very into comics, so it took me by surprise, and I was pretty interested in it. If you have any questions at all, I feel like this was a very unorganized rant, and maybe not even a very good review of the book, because I had a lot to talk about. But if you have any questions at all, please, feel free to leave a comment, and I will do my best to answer and explain. I guess I could show some of the art though real quick before I leave. And I should have already had one of them out of the bags. And maybe even, I don't know, now that it's out of the bag, I don't know if you'll be able to see the gloss on the red any better. Let's see, where was that? I don't know how well you'll be able to see like the corners and how they're kind of, not perfect. And somewhere over here there's a bit of a ding on the top. The front cover looks pretty good though. And I'm surprised there wasn't really any color rub. Like I said, they were all three comics were in there together, and I figured shifting around on these black covers would have produced some really bad cover rub. But they are on pretty nice cardstock paper. So I'll give you a little, let me find a really good one for you with some nice slapping action. So here's a little preview of some of the art, just to get a vibe of what's going on. And like I said, these slaps are definitely intense. So, again, any further questions, leave me a comment. If you like the video, definitely hit the like button. That's what it's for. And if you, by chance, also ordered this comic and have read it, or, were thinking about it, definitely talk to me about that in the comments, because I don't expect many people to have got this. Like I said, it was a pretty limited thing, and if you're not haven't been watching his channel, then you may not know about it. That's gonna be it for today though. I thank you so much for watching the video, and I will see you all next time. Ha 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 ha!